Let's move to this now. The Department of Social Development is collaborating closely with the Border Management Authority to safeguard the well-being of children during the transit between South Africa and Zimbabwe as the Easter weekend draws to a close. In order to address the matter, the department recently conducted its quarterly cross-border meeting with its Zimbabwean counterparts, which focuses on crucial aspects of child protection and care. To get more insight on this, I am joined by the Chief Director for Communications at the Department of Social Development, that's Lumka Oliphant. Ms. Oliphant, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Firstly, can you provide a general overview of the observations and measures taken by the Department of Social Development to really safeguard and support children who are crossing our borders?
Yes, we are the custodians of the Children's Act, as you may know. We also are signatories to different international conventions like the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and also the African Charter of the Rights and Welfare of the Child. So we are basically saying to the world that any child who comes to South Africa, and is within our borders will receive the necessary care and protection. So we start there in terms of legislation and what we are obligated to do. So we also have an International Social Service Directorate in the department, whereby we deal specifically with international social services, especially also on children. So with Zimbabwe and Lesotho, because there are a lot of children that come, from Zimbabwe and Lesotho, we have an MOU with the two countries, especially on children, so that we can be able to see how do we speed up in terms of integration of children, repatriation of children, but not just only for Zimbabwe and Lesotho, but any child who is in need of care and protection who is in South Africa from any other, country, we are obligated to make sure that they receive the necessary care and protection.
Lumka, your press release mentions the strengthening of referral mechanisms and also the fast tracking for family tracing as well as reunification. How would these efforts be executed practically here?
Yes, and just to give you an example, just 2 days ago, there were 5 children that were intercepted by the Border Management Authority, and they were from Zimbabwe and unaccompanied, even the situation whereby the children were put in. So there were social workers there immediately after, we had assessed the children and found out that they were just being, transported to different places to Johannesburg. We were able then to activate our counterparts in Zimbabwe. The children on the same day were able to make sure that they get safely to Zimbabwe and are able now for us to be integrated with their families.
As we wrap up our conversation, it's also mentioned that the Department of Social Development has this cross-border memorandum of understanding, like you've mentioned, with Zimbabwe and Lesotho regarding the children's welfare. Can you please explain on the key objectives and outcomes of this MOU?
The key objectives is that, when we find the children from both the countries, because we have also seen that, because there are lots of Zimbabweans who are living in South Africa. So we need to make sure that as children are crossing between the two borders, the Zimbabwean nationals who are in South Africa and also who are at home, they understand what we do and what are the expectations when children are traveling. You still see a huge number of children that are being transported without any documentation and any adult supervision. So those are the things that we need to make sure that even the Zimbabwean counterparts on the other side, they know what would be expected when children are traveling between the two countries. In the last meeting that we had, also the Zimbabwean councillor in Johannesburg was also in that meeting, and also we had our international organizations who are also assisting us. For instance, your International Organization for Migration, which is a United Nations organization, also your Red Cross, also Save the Children. So we work together because we are in the child protection space, and it means that we can be able to facilitate and integrate and repatriate easily when we need to.
That was Lumka Oliphant. She's the Chief Director of Communications at the Department of Social Development.